Hello dear students, let's start today's lecture by discipline Ecology of Animals and Plants and Biogeography. The theme of today's our lecture is the influences of biotic factors on plants, zoogenic, microbiogenic and anthropogenic factors on plants. The plan of our today's lecture is influences of biotic factors on plants and zoogenic, microbiogenic and anthropogenic factors for living plants. Purpose of the lecture is to form students' knowledge about influences of chemical elements and biotic factors growth to the plant's environment. What is a biotic and abiotic influences for plants? All plants being in a certain territory as parts of bionosis are closely related to each other and are in a complex interaction. Along with abiotic factors, all living organisms that make up the ecosystems affect the growth, development, nutrition, metabolism, and the reproduction of a plant individual. In this picture, we can see the biotic and the abiotic influences in each other. What is the abiotic factors and the biotic factors? Abiotic factors, they are factors as non-living organisms. We can see the temperature, the heat, the moisture, and the other, maybe climate, water, sunlight, soil. All these are the abiotic factors. About these factors, we said in the last lecture session. Lessons. So in this lecture, we can we going to study about the biotic influences, biotic factors. What is a biotic factor? Biotic factor is include the component as animals, plants, microorganisms, and also the human factor. So the effects of living organisms on each other are isolated into special groups of biotic factors. The biogenic components of ecological systems are divided by type of nutrition into producers, decomposers, and the consumers. Producers, there are three groups of biogenic components. First is producers. Producers, they can make our food by themselves. The second is consumers. You can see in the picture, consumers, they eat other organisms for food. They can't make the food for ourselves. So they eat the organisms for other organisms. They can be animals or plants or other algae, maybe other living organisms. And the third type is decomposers. Decomposers, they are break down the dead material. In other case, we can say they are the sanitary of our world. So, based on the characteristics of species composition, species composition and the species diversity of natural territory complex, biotic, or we can say biogenic factors can be divided into these types. First is phytogenic, zoogenic, anthropogenic, and microgenic. Phytogenic is the influences of plants for plants in each other. Zoogenic influence factor is when the animals influence to the plants. Anthropogenic factors, when it's in this case people or human influence for plants. Microbiogenic factor when the microorganisms influence to the plants. So they are the factors divided in these types. What is the zoogenic factors? Zoogenic factors is the influences of animals on plants. and the vegetation is extremely diverse. It manifests itself first of all in a trophic connection as well as in a complex of interaction between species in the process of vital activity. Indirect effects of animals on the growth. Development of vital function of plants can be distinguished. Indirect impacts include such as composition of the soil during trampling, passage or grazing of herbivorous animals. In this scheme or picture, you can see how the animals can influences for the plant world. So they can they can give effects directly or indirectly. So that's all. And the next factor is anthropogenic factor. Anthropogenic factors is the factor of human for the plants. Changes with influences of the organic world and are introduced into the nature by human activity. For example, the changes of structure of the earth surface, soils, or vegetation. If we change the structure of earth surface or the soils, it's directly impact to the growing of the plants. So the human activity is directly influences to the plant life. Anthropogenic factor represent a wide class of processes and phenomena, so their classification turns out to be very difficult. The classification of Israel by the intensity of anthropogenic influences is well known. They have identified available, correctable, uncorrectable, threatening, and a catastrophic impact. The impact of human activity, we can divide it into the two types. It's a harmful impact and a useful impact. So we can save the phytogenic plant's life, plant's world, or we can disaster the plant life. So we can impact in other ways. So they are. Today we learn about the zoogenic impact, the anthropogenic impact, the phytogenic impact, and the microgenic impact. Microgenic impact is the influences of microorganisms such as bacteria or protists for the plant life. They can influences by the soil, by water, or by air. So it's the microgenic impact. So dear students, I think it's enough for today. So let's see next time. Goodbye, thank you.